Good morning. The last day of the first quarter and of 2022. It seems like a insignificant day. That's not how I see it. We notice that there's a lot of turmoil in the world and some pressure, all the oil companies and their greed and their corruption, because it's obvious that there's no shortage in oil. Less than a year ago, they bring prices so down because nobody was buying any, right? So now they are understanding that their corruption is coming to the surface and people are seeing it now, which means they're we're looking at the actual new year of 2022 or whatever actual year it is the Chinese New Year or the more ancient calendar, right? So if we wanted to say the best place to end a business to do with the actual calendar, it would be um, this is the last day, right? Which means I suggest things are going to start to the all this craziness is going to start to taper really quickly after today. And it's just a theory based on what I'm seeing, and I don't see how much longer this tension can build up before the elastic band snaps. And so I kind of see the elastic band being multi-tethered elastic band, and it's on its last few strands, and I don't know how long it'll take for those last few strands to snap. However, today I believe is a significant day. And what it is it has a lot to do with also, and it's in our own hearts too. So we have to be a part of it. We can't just let things be as they are. So I'm really realizing is who am I going to vote for in this new world? Well, like I'm wearing this hat today, and that's the Ohm sound, right? And everybody knows, well, not everyone, many people know that that's the idea of like vibrational frequencies of the universe and like healing frequencies and such. But the reason I really wear this hat is because my really good buddy Varouj, who I recorded a song with, I'll put it in the description. He's an amazing musician, plays in the band called Ohm Sound, and they're unreal. Like they jam, they're just playing, they're very just on off the cuff, and it's so interesting because every time you see them, it's like a different show. And he's the most unreal uh, drummer and keyboard player I've ever played with. In that the track I put down there, he's playing the drums and the keyboards in that track, and I'm playing the rest of the instruments. However, so back to what I was saying is that so now I'm like very cautious of like I'm not wearing, I have two Backroads hats, and it's because they used to hire us for gigs. We played there with Back Pocket, and I played there with my brother. Like so, they were supporting getting conscious and reggae music out there. And at this point, though, they were very rude to me, and it not the owner. So I'm not saying this about the owner. I'm talking about some of the employees or managers that work there. They show their true colors through this thing we just went through, right? So even though I really like the hats, they're comfortable and they look really good. I'm less inclined to wear them because they need to. They've got some work to do to get their respect back from me, and they do have time. But I'd say it can't be false virtue that they signal for me to start wearing that hat again. So I'm gonna start wearing things that I stand for, and that's the Ohm Sound, the band, and also the Ohm Sound, the sound. But also, I'm going to talk about, I want to stand behind things like, and I'll talk about what I'm involved with cannabis. And I'll tell you a situation that happened last night is I was making suppositories, and they're 1-to-1, so and they're 50 milligrams per suppository. When you take them in a suppository, they're not metabolized by the liver, so they don't cause a psychoactive effect. So they are quite strong at 50 milligrams. If a normal person ate these a suppository, then they would have quite a strong experience. 25 milligrams for the average person is quite strong, right? Myself, I can handle 5-10 times that much and probably have the same effect. It really depends on your physiology and your tolerance to the cannabinoids in the plant you're using. So there's complexity to these plants, right? And so these stores that pop up with zero to no competence, and they're not even allowed to teach about these complex chemical plants, right? That cause all these side effects with different medicines and, well, not as much with chemical medicines, but with alcohol especially. So with an alcohol tincture, if you put cannabis in an alcohol, it kicks in quick because it's absorbed quickly, right? So I like to have cannabis last longer and absorb slower through lipids or fats, and that's why I'll put it in MCT oil or olive oil, or you can cook it into animal fats also, and that's the best way to like get it to slow burn in your body, and that's gonna be cause less tolerance in buildup of tolerance to the cannabinoids. So what I'm saying here is, though, after I finished making these suppositories, I didn't feel like using the spatula to clean the bowl, and I felt, well, I'll just take some cannabis and whatever, right? I can handle quite a lot of it. So I just kind of like licked the last bit out of the bowl. You know, I'm the cook. You got to taste your cooking to become a good cook, right? And I guess as I was doing it, I was like, oh, there's probably about, maybe there's 3 or 4 suppositories in here, I thought, as I was licking it, which puts that up to, 100 milligrams. I'm like, oh, that shouldn't be too bad, right? So I take that, and then I kind of forget about it, and I drank 2 beers last night, and I'm usually not a drinker. However, I am, let's say, self-medicating a little bit to calm myself with a couple beers, and my body doesn't like it, and I can tell already, so it's not a sustainable choice for me to drink beer. But I drank those 2 beers, and then I realized is that little amount of alcohol was enough to change that amount of cannabis I ate. So I ended up getting really high, and I was like, oh. And this morning, it was really slow getting going. So these are the kind of things. So like when you're putting weed stores within a couple blocks of alcohol stores, and you're calling them both recreational, and you're not teaching them about the complexity of these things, and this is what we're allowing, and anybody like me that is actually educating people on the complexities of it and actually using all the medicines that I produce, because you should be if you're a medicine man, I get raided by the police and am not allowed to get a license to do what I'm doing. So these are issues, and I see that the end of this quarter is going to be like a big change in who's gets to control these things, right? And we're a part of that. And so we're opening up Melatonin Intuitive Health Center starting tomorrow, and I'd like everybody to come down and support us, because we want competent people behind complex medicines like cannabis, not these white collar criminals, you know? And my next video I put up is actually white collar criminals, and it's a very important video, and I'm going to take my time with it, and yeah, that's all I'll say for now. So, watch all of these corporations fall, right? Watch all these people with their big trucks and fancy houses start to get really worried in the next little while. All right, much love.